We out of left field, it's time to get real with all the juicy hot topics that bring appeal. Like who's a Hall of Famer and who's the best team. Number one up on the power ranking, that's a prestige. Man, the outfield is mine, I'm calling left center. My name is Daniak, a name that you should all remember. Yoni, who you bringing on? Who's the guest spot? They better be bringing their A game, come on, let's talk.
Strike one. Two. 0-2.
Oh, nice. Home.
Out! No, save! Save!
You have to send me in.
Yeah. What's up, boys? So we're about a quarter of the way through the season, and this special podcast, which has been forced on us by everyone in the league. Everyone seems to love the podcast and gets mad when the podcast doesn't happen, but it's so hard for people to just press that like button at the bottom of the YouTube channel. Hopefully this one will get a lot of likes. We got a lot to unpack today. Mitchie, Shiv, welcome, guys.
Happening.
So obviously we're going to start with the obvious. We're going to unpack this blockbuster trade, which people are coining as the biggest trade in exec league history. Not that there's many trades that happened. There were two trades that happened this year. One was at the draft table, but this is definitely one of the biggest trades in exec league history. Do you agree with that, Mitch?
I would think so. 3 for 3, kind of a quarter way into the season. I don't remember that. I'd played in this league 11, 12 years. So probably the biggest trade. A lot of moving parts. Same part moved twice this year, but a lot of moving parts.
Okay, Shiv. Before we explain what the trade was, were you shocked at the trade offer that was on the table?
I don't know if I was shocked. I think I heard about this like 2 weeks ago. Like it had come up earlier, but I think at the time they didn't. Both sides thought maybe it was a little too early on in the season to make such a big change. But yeah, big trade. A lot of big names moving in this one. So
a lot of big names. So we're going to explain the trade. The trade was for Team Truckers traded over Jason Portnoy, traded over Bram Goldstein and Primo in exchange for 2 Burakovskis and Ricky Geller. Now, what's weird about this trade is the trade gave us 2 more players from our championship team from 2 years ago, but we did lose one of those players. So Ricky Geller went the other way, right? He was on our championship team. But we did get Portnoy and Bram, which were very integral parts of that championship run. What do you think about the trade, Mitch? Let me hear.
I think both teams were like 1-4, 1-5. I think they were both probably frustrated, maybe a little bit trigger happy, and I think they did a trade that impacts both their teams. I think the Truckers wanted to get a better bat. I think you guys wanted to get a pitcher that throws less balls, and I think that's what ended up happening in the end. So, the first game didn't work out for the Truckers, but it's one, and we'll see tomorrow how it goes for you guys and also for the Truckers. I do know Ryan Burakovsky pretty well. We were on the Baggers together for 5 or 6 years. So I think I think the trade may have impacted him, but I think over the next couple of games he's probably he'll probably get better once it's sort of past him.
Jason Burke kind of told me he's like, I saw the writing on the wall. In our last game, we got killed by the Coats and Luke Bagel. Not our best game, and he kind of felt something was going to happen. Ryan was pulled from the mound mid-game. Really, the truth was he was pulled because Jared was supposed to be pitching tomorrow because Ryan was out of town. So Jared wanted to get a couple reps in just to, get the feel for it. But Jason Burkowski's like, yeah, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I knew something was going to happen. I don't think they're very happy with the trade. I think they were, a bit upset. They think it is a rec league, and these trades shouldn't happen. Shiv, can you see trades like this happening in the future in exec league?
No. I think my opinion on this is we should probably remove trades altogether after once one game has been played. So prior to the season starting, I think if people want to make little moves, I think that's okay. I think once the season starts, we should probably get rid of trading, and just for the human being aspect of it. Like, I know it is a rec league and most people probably don't take it that seriously and they don't care, but Primo been traded twice in 2 years, traded twice this year. Like, I don't know. I don't love it.
When the trade happened, I think we had an exec call for like at least an hour. Through the exec call, we basically concluded that we don't think trade should happen anymore, because we're just no matter what we chose one way or another, it's just lose, lose, lose for the trade and also for the players involved, and hurting feelings and whatnot. At the end of the day, it's just a rec league. It's not fantasy football.
So right now we're saying trade deadline is game one.
That would be my reco, but goes
off-season things, it'll be probably no trades or before game one. That's probably where it'll go. That seems to be we're all kind of aligned in that on the call.
Was it how hard was it to pass this trade? Was it like a big discussion? Was it we have to think about it? I don't think it's so fair. I think one team's giving up a lot, and definitely helping one team's offense significantly.
Yeah, for me, it was never like I'm going to take the people out of it and just look at it as a pure numbers game, right? Like, if we think about where people were drafted, a 2, a 4, and an 11 were traded for a 4, a 9, and an 11. So yeah, there's some issues there, right? Like, if we're just saying that, and I know we don't operate like this, and our tiers don't always reflect the round because you have positional need or whatever it is. But I think that's something that like the Dollard League does. And I actually don't think it's terrible, just as like sort of guidance, is to say like, hey, if you're trading a 4 and a 6, it's 10, then it should be, at least close to 10 coming back. Like, if we think back to the draft trade, I think it was a 6 and a 10 for an 8 and a 9, right? So 16 for 17. Relatively close in that sense. This year, I think, was 24 for 17. So it's a pretty big difference. Again, this has nothing to do with the people involved. I think that, neither of these teams were making a trade that they thought made them worse. I think both teams feel like they got better. And at the end of the day, I think that's why the conversation was, yeah, the trade should go through. There was clearly no collusion or anything of that sort. So I think that was what kind of pushed us to make that call.
Yeah. And I think also why probably no more trades going forward or before game one or whatever. But we're talking about the trade. Every single player knew about the trade, including I'm sure about a third of the league knew about the trade. So it didn't really impact our decision one way or another. But how do you 6 people who know they were traded? I'll go back to the team. It's just not a good situation for anyone. So it's just just trades for me. They're no good.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think the people involved in the trade should have known about it before it was, officially approved. Because to Mitch's point, how do we now go back and say, hey, those guys that didn't want to play with you anymore, you're going to be playing with them again?
Right? Yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. We're a quarter of the way into the season. Some people a little bit more than a quarter, right? Some people have 7 games played, some people just under. But things aren't the way we saw it before the season. If you go look back at the first podcast, this is not the order of things. This is not the order we saw. This is not the standings that we saw. So that brings us to our next segment, which I like to call sus or sustainable. Okay, so I'm gonna go through a few things. We'll talk about the teams afterwards. I just want to go through sus or sustainable just for a few minutes. I'm going to give you a topic, and you're going to tell me, is that sus or is that sustainable? We'll start with Peter Berryhill batting 700. Shiv.
mean, that's not sustainable for anyone, right? Like, so definitely, yeah. I'm an old man, so you're gonna have to help me out with what sus means. But
Suspect.
I'm
Suspect.
assuming that this is sus, not sustainable.
Yeah.
Mitch
And
Fogel.
that's not a knock on Peter Berryhill. I would say that for anyone in the league that isn't named Brad Buckner.
It's definitely sus.
It's definitely sus. I'd like to do the next. I'm gonna ask Fogel for the next one because Shiv, I feel, is going to be a little bit biased. Jesse Shea leading the league in batting. Sus or sustainable?
That's sus. I mean, I don't think he's going to lead the league, but he hit, I don't know, 350 last year, and he's not a 350 hitter. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's somewhere between 450 and 500 at the end of the year. But
He's
he
a
definitely won't lead the league.
he's a very
But
hard.
450 to 500, give or that's what he should be.
He hits the ball very hard, but he's not much of a spray hitter, right? He's more. I mean, teams will figure it
No,
out,
but
right?
sometimes he does. I've seen him do it a few times. All he has to do is do it 4 or 5 times, and then you get people thinking. But at the end of the day, he's not doing it, and he's hitting 700 or whatever he's hitting. So,
All right, now we'll get
I
Shiv.
mean, he's a good
Hey,
hitter. He's a vet. He's going to hit 450,
Shiv, I want your
somewhere out
opinion.
there at the end.
Is Jesse Shea sus or sustainable? Batting, leading the batting, leading the
Jesse Shea leading the league in batting average is fully sustainable, my friend.
batting.
I will never doubt the skills of Jesse. Jesse's a great hitter. Last year was him getting used to a bouncy ball with slow pitching. He'd been playing fast pitch his whole life, and he's taken the ball the other way a few times this year to keep people honest, and he's just hitting ropes. Very hard to get out ball that hard.
Wow.
Sustainable.
Sustainable. So we have conflicting opinions here. Listen, I'd be happy to see Jesse Shea, one of the top-notch guys in the league when it comes to
Best. Yeah.
just being nice, being open, being, like talks to everybody. As long as you have beer, he's your friend. He smells that beer from across the field. He knows where it's at.
Across the street, also.
Yeah.
He what? He lives across the street, you said?
He lives across the street from me.
Oh,
Yeah,
from you.
across the street. Yeah.
Cam batting under 500. Sus or sustainable?
Me or Shiv?
Go for it, Mitch.
That's sus. I think he hasn't been hitting well, and he's still hitting 500. So that's only a sign of things to come. He's always hits, I don't know, 570 or whatever or whatnot. I'm sure he'll. I'm going with sus.
I take Cam too good of a hitter to not right. I don't even know it's going that bad. Like, I think he's hitting close to 500 now. So I don't think it's he's not batting 200 or anything. I think he'll get back to where he always is, 550 plus.
550 plus. Maislin's even came over to me. He's like, Cam's struggling, like he's going through some sort of I guess a slump. And I know Cam.
We all slump, but
Everyone slumps.
speed doesn't slump. Cam can get out of this.
I've had a 10-year slump, so we're
Like I said, I think he's batting almost 500. I don't know how we call that a slump.
yeah, he's about 470, but for him, that's a slump. He's a 600 hitter.
It's literally
I'd say
probably
slumping.
one to two more hits on the season, and he's batting 550.
And you say someone's slumping, they're batting 470, so it shows they're really a 550 hitter.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Cam at all.
Okay. Truckers last in the league. Sus or sustainable?
Go ahead, Mitch.
I think there's probably one other team I'd probably put there, but I think Truckers will probably be bottom three. Last, it's hard to tell. I think sus for last, but I'm probably going to go bottom three.
Shiv, at the beginning of the first podcast, I remember asking you, will Gal be at the top of the league like he always is, his team in the top of the league? And you thought that he should be at the top or top, I guess, higher.
I didn't rule him out, is all I'm saying. But again, he's 2-3, right? So we're 5 games in. There's 20 games to go. I subbed for that team on Thursday night, and they look really good. They beat the New Look Truckers 14-2, and They played good defense. Big home run from Evan Rosenthal. Shout out Evan
I
Rosenthal.
saw that.
First of the
He
year.
crushed that center field.
Crushed it. Legit home run.
That's the first
A
time I've ever
man's
seen
home
the
run.
kid. That's my first impression of him. Let me tell you, my first impression is this kid hits bombs. And then I looked at the
Yeah.
stats and it's his first one.
Yeah, look, I think he's a guy that as he gets more reps, he's going to get better and better, right? We're playing basically once a week. Gal's schedule has been exceptionally generous in his team as well. Doesn't play on any holidays, no 3 a weeks, just a really nice schedule for John Gal.
How did that happen?
Just kidding. But yeah, no, I think the team is good. I don't think they're that bad. Honestly, I played with them the other night, and I think they're Gal keeps them in the game too, right? So even when they're not
Wait.
at their best,
You told me it was primetime Gal pitching the other night.
I said what? Sorry, now
You said it was primetime Gal pitching. It was
primetime Gal. That was good, John Gal. That's the kind of game that's going to make him be a 3 again next year.
Why does he argue being a 3?
Almost every day wants to be a 4, but I get that. I want to be a 2. We all have wants in life.
Okay, and how is an 11 leading the league in RBIs this year? Although he has played 2 more games than everyone else, an 11 is leading the
Yaron?
league. Yeah, in RBIs this year.
Yaron.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yaron. Oh, Yaron's always been better, and he has the best team. So right now, so
My question is, how is he an 11?
well, he's actually a 10. But,
He's
Or 10?
also hitting.
Is he a 10? I thought Gilbart's 10 and he's 11.
well, it doesn't really matter. But
Whatever
I mean,
it is,
he's
yeah.
a 10. But
Yeah.
but
Look, he also hits in front of Talk, Respits, Malinoff, and Fixman. Like 4 guys that run. They're all batting above 500. A lot of good. Yaron's always been a good hitter. It's not like this is new information, right? I think that it's the speed and defense limitations that make him be ranked where he is, and now he happens to have 4 guys that basically are on base all the time, and they all fly around the bases, and they're young and energetic, and not surprising to me that he's leading the league in RBIs.
He has played 2 more games than everybody, but still, good for him.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, do you think that Coates and Luke Bagel can keep up this tear that they're on? They lost 1 game where they got crushed like 10-1, where they were getting shut out until the last out of the game. And then every other game, they seem to just be, they're a plus 32 on the season. Like, it's pretty good. Is that sustainable?
they have a good mix of veterans, young guys. They're definitely the best team on paper. How that translates and what it means in June versus what it means in August/September or October, they're no doubt the team to beat. They don't really have many holes, and that's where we are right now on June 7th.
Did you see this team being this good after the draft?
I think I rated them B+. I didn't think they were the full-on team to beat, but I knew they were a solid team. But they're definitely better than I thought after drafting.
I haven't seen.
Respits has been a really good 4.
Very good.
Incredible.
He's a borderline. He may
He's
be a
2.
2.
He's crushing the ball very hard. He's playing really good defense.
So we've had fix. You get Respits, who's maybe a 2. Talk's been playing amazing. I've subbed for them 3 times, so I see it all firsthand. Talk's played great. He's really into it. It's definitely a hard team to beat.
Do they have a weakness on that team? Every team has a weakness. Where is
I think their weakness
saying
maybe there's some speed, maybe speed towards the bottom half. I mean, the top half is quick, but then
not pass
you
it.
have, and Rosenblatt, who are courtesy. You have Wayne. You have Kevin Malinoff. So Ethan's not the fastest, but he's a good hitter. But if I'm nitpicking, it's maybe some speed or courtesy runner issues.
Yeah, 2 courtesy runners going back to back is kind of. I guess you have to put them back to back, right? Like, how do you?
I mean, Rose probably runs come the playoffs, right? I think he's just trying to keep himself healthy at the moment, and yeah, I don't know. They're a very good team. Tomorrow night, I'm interested to see how that game goes, but yeah, they're a very good team.
Who's playing tomorrow night against them? Sorry, I missed that.
I am.
You're playing them? So tomorrow night, somebody's going to have between you two teams, somebody's going to have their second loss of the season.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be a tie, and that won't happen. But yes, in theory, one of us will have a second.
You think so, eh? So let's move on to research. Let's move on to research FDI Academy. 4-1. Their only loss came to a Team Zerzo team that was very hungry after I think losing the first two games of the season or whatever it is, and they came in and they ended up winning. But every other game, you guys seem to be doing your thing. You're a +8 on the year. Tell me a little bit about your team and what's going well, what's going right for you guys.
I think it's all going right to a certain, you know, if I think back to 2 years ago when we lost to you guys in the finals, it was a very similar story. Like we were in a lot of close games, but we just found a way to win. And it's been a bit the same. Like you said, we're 4-1, but we're only +8, right? It's not a huge margin for a team that has 4 wins and 1 loss. Most of the games are close. We've had great pitching from Jesse. Lino pitched a great game the other night when Jesse wasn't there. The defense has been okay, but we've made the plays when we had to. And I always knew this team would kind of hit well and run well. Like it's a pretty deep lineup.
Fast, also, yeah.
Fast at the top for sure. And, you know, games Tony started getting going. I think he's, 7 for his last 8 at the plate. And that's just like another dangerous spat. Shane as well, like kind of had a bit of a slow start for Shane, 4 for 5 with a cycle in his last game. So, with those two guys hitting, like this lineup it runs pretty long, right? So I think it's sort of what I expected it to be.
Right. What would you say the weakness of the team is? Not personnel, but like position wise, or like what does your team need to make sure they do every game to come out with the W? If there's one thing, is it the outfield? It's definitely not
Honestly,
the pitching. You seem to be very happy.
The shortstop needs to play a little better, to be honest.
I heard the shortstop had a game.
He had one good game, but if the shortstop can play like that, the team will be in good shape.
I heard the shortstop played very good center
lead by
field.
example.
I heard the shortstop played a very good center field for the Tropics the other day.
The shortstop is a center fielder by
trade.
That's a little easier for me, but yeah, I'm getting the hang of it. The last game was a little better, but I gotta lead by example and make the plays in the field.
And now the surprise for me, and I'll be straight up, I did not see this happening at the beginning of the year. Daniak. I did not think Daniak would be, I guess, a quarter into the season, top 3 team. I really, really didn't, and I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm very. I've upped their game a couple times, and you know what? They just put it together. Talk to me a little bit about Daniak and what's going right for them at 4-2. Bogues.
I think me too. I didn't have them there, and it's early, but they're playing well. They have a deep lineup. Their batting order was deep. Like we were umping together, Yoni, and I think Cujo bats 6 or 7 or whatnot.
He was great last game. He was incredible.
Cujo looked like old school Cujo last game. So their lineup's deep. They're playing good defense. The middles are. You have Darren Singer, Josh, and Greg. So it's a good team. Definitely better than I thought. Also going in, watching them, and I think they have good vibes rolling.
I mean, I
think like the other thing. Sorry, Yoni, but for them,
go ahead.
It reminds me of like the Jared teams of old, right? Like I think any team, and I'm not putting down the rest of the team, but I think any team with Darren has a chance to win games. Like I think he's that good. I think he's that much maker. I think if we think back 4 or 5 years ago, teams with Jared tend to always be competitive. I think we're seeing a little bit of the passing of the torch here, and I think Darren is pretty much the clear 1-1 in the league at the moment. So yeah, like I think just having him and then good team vibes. I think the 2 Gregs are probably great captains to play for. I played with them both the last 2 years. Amazing guys, good players. I just think it's actually I didn't think they were as bad as maybe did. I didn't have them as low down. But I'm also, happy to see them at 4-2 in their first season captaining. It's not always easy your first go around. Sometimes there's some growing pains, so it's nice to see.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, one thing you said, I'm just gonna piggyback off of it. Darren, he's always at 100%.
Oh yeah,
You'll never see Darren half-assing. Like the two outs, he's on second, ball is popped up, ball is caught, he's still running his ass off going home. He's like, and
absolutely, all the
as an
time, full
umpire,
effort.
when the last out is made, I usually try and stop the runners from running because I know me, if I run hard like that, that's the best and easiest way to pull a hamstring or to get injured. So I always try and stop him. He got upset with me that I tried to stop him. He's like, I'm getting my reps in, like I'm running. So
That's Darren. You
that's
know,
him. So that's
he's always going.
that's the right attitude. It's the right attitude. He's always going hard. You never know. He doesn't care. Just gonna push it no matter what. Moves me on to the next team at 2-3-1. PSB Boisjoli. Shiv, talk to me a little bit about PSB.
I mean, do any of us know? PSB. Sorry, I always confuse you and Jared are always PSB to me. PSB. They look like they've righted the ship a little bit. I had a little bit of concern with that team. I guess like maybe around their second, third game. Uh, Evan Frank's been outstanding. Like, I actually think he's probably the guy in the league closest to Darren at the moment in terms of
1-1, close to 1-1.
yeah. I still think Darren's the guy, but I think Evan probably next year is a top 3-4 pick in the draft, no question. Um, Look, it's a good team. It's a lot of guys I like on that team too. So I think David Barth is a good captain. Like I said, he's been doing this a long time, so I think he kind of went into that role pretty seamlessly. Um, yeah, I've umped I think one or two of their games, and they're starting to get their guys back. Boucher's back healthy. Uh, Max is back from his early season travels, so it's nice to see Gabe Boucher back. When I was umping that game, I thought that was a season ender when it happened. So it's nice to see him back on the field.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's just I think they kind of are where I feel they'll be. I think they're probably the 4 or 5 game. I think they're a decent team. I think it wouldn't surprise me if they went on a run, but if I had to rank where I think their season ends, I think it's in the 4 or 5.
Which is where they are. 4-5, exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Mitch, what do you think their weakness is?
Well, I am on the team, by the way.
I
But
know.
so our weakness is the first inning, and we're
Yeah.
always down 3 or 4-0 in the first inning. So we're down 3 or 4-0, and then all of a sudden it's tight. I think we have 3 losses. I think 2 of our losses are 1-run games. So we've been in every game. It's just I don't know what it is with that first inning, but we've also been home, I think, every game this season, and also on T2. But I guess that's besides the point right now. But
Your road trip starts soon.
I think their only
and
game on
then I
T3
think-
was a tie.
and then I think we have all our games on T3, and I think we're away for 8 straight or something. But anyways, so I don't know. It's just that first inning that kills us. We're always down 3 or 4-0. So I'm trying to bribe the team to, like, if we give up no runs, I have to find some way to bribe the team.
Beer always works in exec.
Yeah, it's just that first inning. But we've been playing much better the last few games. Our defense has been solid. It's just we're down 3, and we either win by 1 or lose by 1. That's pretty much been our mantra for, I think, 5 out of our 6 games.
Yeah, I was thinking
Already.
2 of your wins, I believe both your wins were walk-offs, correct?
Both our wins were walk-offs.
And your last game that you lost by
2
1, I
losses
was
by
so
1, and
sure
I
it was
think
going to
we
be a
lost the
walk-off.
other one, and we had 1 tie, which was like a comeback tie, or no, you guys came back. So every game.
Didn't you lose by a point to Daniac or something like that? By
Lost
1
by
run?
1 to Daniac.
And
Yeah.
I was sure that was going to be a walk-off that game. Another one. I was going to say, not again. 3 walk-offs, 3 wins.
I think our only game that wasn't tight was against Gal, from what I remember. But in any event, you got to learn how to win the tight games and play the tight games, because it doesn't really matter in June; it matters in September, whatever you want to call it.
For sure.
For sure. Okay, we're going to move on to the team that's tied with you in record. 2-3-1. Team Zerzer KW Prestige. Shiv,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about that team. What do you think about it?
I mean, it's a brand new team. What do I know? No, I mean, jokes aside, like, um, I said some things about that team that I didn't like, I think, in the last podcast that we did. And then that team went out and smashed me. So maybe I should self
No.
here. But look, I don't know. I don't know what the team is. I think I still feel like team speed is a bit of a problem. Obviously, Bram for Jay Burke is kind of a push. Two guys that run really well, but just feels a little bit slow to me in the bottom half of the lineup for what I personally like. But there obviously are some good bats in that lineup too. Yourself and Jared and Bram, and I think when things are clicking, it's going to go. Portnoy, obviously, a great pitcher. So, and I think he's going to be happy to be playing with you guys again. So we'll get a new fire lit under Portnoy, and I don't blame him for having that fire. I think he's a good player. I don't think any of these trades had anything to do with him. I think it was just teams that had needs that were different, and because he's a guy that people want to play with, he ends up being involved in some of these trades, right? Like if you're able to get a guy like Jesse Shea for Portnoy, that speaks to how much people value Portnoy. So I don't think he should take it as a criticism of his play. I think he should take it as people value him and they want to play with him, and that's sort of why he was the unlucky or lucky, however you want to look at it, guy who was involved in two of these trades this year. So.
Yeah, when I spoke to Portnoy about the trade, I'm like, were you pissed when you found out? He goes, no, I'm going to a team that wants me. Why would I be pissed? Like
That's it. Right?
I'm happy being on a team with people who want me there. And listen, they gave up a big package to get him, and that if that doesn't prove we want you, then I don't know what does.
And look, I know we talked about the trade earlier, but something that I do think that should be said too. Like, I don't think Ryan is going to struggle all year like he did in the last game, right? Like I've seen Ryan pitch for 3 years. I've umped games that Ryan pitches. Ryan is a good ball player. He's going to be fine. I felt there was a little bit of panic, but I understand it also, right? Like I've been last year, the season starts wrong, and sometimes you feel like, okay, I need to just change something. I need to mix it up a little bit. So this goes for both teams.
In Ryan's defense, it's got to be the hardest thing in the world to get traded from a team because they weren't happy with the walk situation, and then going into a team brand new and try to try to perform. It's the most nerve-wracking thing to perform in your first game because that all eyes are on you and what people are looking for. Yeah. And so just the yips get to you. And I really think I agree with you 100%. I think Ryan's going to find his groove. And he's going to make that team a very good team, I think.
Yeah, he settled in by the middle of that game, right? Like I was subbing in it. And it was a bit of a rocky start, and it is what it is. Like it happens. It happens to every pitcher. And
absolutely,
I think by the midpoint of the game, I think maybe he had 2 more walks the rest of the game, but they were in the 9th inning, and it was a 12-run game, and I don't think anybody was really all that engaged anymore. So
yeah, I think all the walks were in the first 3 innings, really. So
yeah, he got him out of his system, and now he's good to go. I expect good things from him the rest of the way.
And I expect some big hitting from them too. They're good hitters. They're fast. They're also
that's a
great
no-brainer. Yeah.
Teammates, and they don't have a bad bone in their body. They're just nice.
Yeah, very good guys.
So you know what? I'm going to miss them on my team. I'm going to miss. I enjoyed having them. They're very positive, nice people. But you know what? I guess that's what they say. That's the business. It is what it is, and
the business.
And we'll move on from there.
Yep.
We got a couple more teams to do. The Flint Tropics we kind of spoke about. What we didn't speak about is Canuck. We didn't speak about Canuck. Let's talk about them and their 2-4 record.
Canuck, I don't know what their team is because every time they come out, there's like 5 subs, and so I'm half joking aside. Like they lost. I mean, Dylan came in early. They're still trying to replace Jim. I think that Dave Sachs will probably be the permanent once it gets approved by the exec. So I think it's just been a struggle. I think Klager's injured now, and it's just been a struggle in terms of subs, and Max has missed, I think, the whole first month. Logan's going to miss sometime soon. Now, we all knew about that going in. So I think that's sort of been a struggle, and you're kind of just, it's not really much of a of a team in terms of it's always six guys and four subs or whatever.
What happened to
Yeah,
Clifford?
I agree with that.
What happened to
I'm
Clifford?
not sure. Not sure. I just
Flicker,
heard that he got a little hurt. I'm not sure what it
yeah,
was.
I forget, but Epstein told me I think he's out for a bit.
Wow. So yeah, after the draft, I agree. I thought Canuck was the top team. I thought they drafted really well. I think they have a great team. It's just they gotta, I guess, put it together. They gotta have their guys show up, and it's hard. It's hard to play with subs. It's not the same team you drafted. So
It's
Yeah.
not the same at all, and like not that this maybe this is in my head, but I find like if I think back to even Epstein's team last year, like he's a guy who likes to play around with things, and his teams tend to get better as the season progresses. To Mitch's point, Max has missed a month. He's a key part of that team. Logan's gone, I think, from the 10th of June until early mid July. So he's going to have to navigate that as well. So I don't know that we'll really know who this team is until like July, August, right? But I still think they're a good team. I still think they have a lot of good pieces. So obviously, Caddy's great. Emil is great. I think they have some good players. So Logan obviously is great, but he'll be a big loss for them in the next month.
yeah, very good defensively. Also, he's all over the place. This kid was flying,
Phenomenal.
diving, right? Like he was just all over the place.
Very, very
Not
good.
necessarily make every play, but he's there for every play. He gets there, so which is really good. Just gonna circle back quickly to the Flint Tropics. Shiv, you just played with them. Do you feel? I think at the beginning of the year we felt they were very top heavy. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they're top heavy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that when their bottom rolls, they're going to be tough to beat, and that's sort of what the case was last game. Is the bottom guys? Rosenshine came up with a couple of huge hits. Evan Rosenthal, I think we talked about with his big home. Glenn just retired from the league. Hope I'm not stealing your thunder there, Yoni, but he let Gal know that he will be retiring from the league, so he's going to be looking for a 12. I do think they're
The
top
12
heavy.
has to be approved, right, by the exec?
Of course, yeah.
Because I heard some names. I'm like, it doesn't sound like right. But
We'll
anyway,
deal with that when it comes. Yeah, look, a bit top heavy. Obviously, the other night too, they were significantly better with me subbing for Eric.
did he quit
Joking,
because he didn't
obviously.
want to catch?
I think it's a combination of things. I don't think it's just that. Mitch, you might know a little more. I know you've been in touch with him a bit, so I'll maybe defer to you on that one.
I think it's a combination. I think it's that. I think he's also out of town a lot. I did tell him before the season he was going to catch, and he was okay with it. He doesn't love catching. That's definitely a factor, but not the only factor.
All right. Okay, great. So listen, we have about 2 minutes left. Are there any surprises this year that really surprise you, that stand out, whether it's somebody's hitting or a team, the way they're playing? Is there any big surprise to you guys in the league?
For me, I'd say the biggest, and I don't know that it's a surprise. I don't know that I didn't expect this, but a lot of really strong rookie performances. Evan Frank, the Fixman, the Respits has been phenomenal. So I think we're seeing a lot.
Do you think the league got significantly better this year than last year?
I do think it got better. Yeah, I wasn't maybe how everybody felt, but I think having seen enough now of like the Respitses and Fixmans and Evan Franks of the world, it's clear that we added, 3 guys that are 1s, 2s, right, in this league, and will be for a long time. Like these are young guys and athletic guys and high baseball IQ on all of them. Like it's just there, and 3 good dudes too, right? So it's a nice to see.
Listen, I love watching Evan Frank play. I'll be the first one to say it. I've seen him play many times. Last year, 2 years ago, we played together with the Cardinals, but he goes wherever he wants. He can go oppo, he can pull it, he could go up the middle. My question to you, Mitch, is he the fastest guy in the league? Yes or no?
I'm not sure if he's not. He's top 3, and I told him he was 1-1, and I was told never to tell him that again because he's very superstitious. So
you're 1-1, Evan.
So I'm going to say he's a low end one, but in all honesty, I do actually think he's probably the best player. But
he's your leadoff, right?
Go both ways with power. He has speed. He's our leadoff. Yeah,
he's your leadoff, and he's tied for second in the league with I don't know who else, but some random guy from the Xerxes team. But he's tied in second in the league in RBIs, which is crazy for a leadoff.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he has 12 RBIs. That's insane for a leadoff.
Yeah.
In how many games? 6 games.
Crazy.
Anyway, guys, we have a very good schedule coming up this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. The league really has been a pleasure to play in, and even better after the games. Everyone started hanging out and more than usual, I find. And listen, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. The league is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have great games this week, and we can't wait to catch up with you guys and everybody else on the next podcast, hopefully in 2 weeks' time. Mitch,